It all started with a look. Not a confession, not a breaking headline, just that one look Carlos King gave when the cameras caught him slipping for half a second. The kind of look that says, know something you don't. And that was all it took. Fans froze the frame, slowed it down, and realized the truth was about to explode. Moments later, Carlos finally said what everyone had been whispering for years. There's real criminal evidence linked to Marsau and Latisha Scott. Not gossip. Not blogger clickbait. Real proof. The man who built Love and Marriage, Huntsville, just cracked open the show's biggest secret, confirming that behind the polished smiles and business talk was something darker, something the cameras were never meant to catch. The internet lost it. Hashtags went wild, fans dug through old clips, and receipts started resurfacing like buried treasure. Because when Carlos King speaks, people listen. And this time, he didn't just spill tea. He poured gasoline on the entire reality TV world and struck a match. Whatever image the Scotts had built just shattered, and now the whole world is watching the empire burn. Carlos King didn't even have to raise his voice to shake the entire reality TV world. His silence had weight, his pause had meaning, and the moment he finally spoke, it felt like years of buried secrets clawed their way out. Fans who had followed Love and Marriage. Huntsville from day one always sensed that the Scotts' story was too polished, too perfectly packaged. Marsau and Latisha had built their image on being the power couple of Huntsville. Business-savvy, community-focused, and unbothered by petty drama. But perfection never lasts long in reality TV. There were always whispers of lawsuits, unpaid contractors, and shady business deals that somehow disappeared before they reached the reunion couch. Every time a fan brought it up online, Latisha dismissed it as hate, while Marsau laughed it off with his trademark smirk. Still, behind those confident smiles, cracks were spreading, and Carlos had seen them all. As the man behind the show, Carlos King knew the difference between drama for ratings and drama rooted in truth. He'd seen the raw footage, the uncut phone calls, and the off-camera arguments that never made it to air. He'd heard cast members whisper about business problems and financial inconsistencies that didn't fit the image Marsau was selling on TV. For years, Carlos played it smart. He let the fans speculate, let the tabloids run wild, and let the Scotts protect their brand. But when he recently hinted at having real evidence, not rumors but legal-level proof, the entire dynamic shifted overnight. Suddenly, fans who had been dismissed as conspiracy theorists were vindicated. They started posting old screenshots, contracts, property filings, and clips of Latisha shutting down tough questions on camera. Everything that once looked like confidence now looked like cover-up. The fallout was immediate and vicious. Social media lit up with phrases like Carlos confirmed and Scotts exposed. Bloggers who had spent years investigating the couple were now treated like heroes. Fans rewatched old episodes frame by frame, analyzing every pause, every side-eye, every deflection. The illusion of the perfect marriage was crumbling, replaced by a narrative of manipulation and deceit. And through it all, Carlos stayed composed, refusing to backtrack or clarify, letting the chaos play out naturally. That silence said more than any statement could. It meant the rumors weren't just rumors anymore. The Scotts' empire had been built on image. Businesses, brand deals, public appearances, but image can't hold when truth starts leaking. People who once looked up to them now wanted answers. What started as a reality show was quickly turning into a real-life investigation. Court documents, financial records, and witness statements began circulating online. It wasn't just entertainment anymore. It was evidence. And while Carlos hadn't named specific charges, the damage was already done. The audience no longer saw Marsau and Latisha as reality stars. They saw them as a mystery that had finally caught up to its own shadow. The storm didn't calm after Carlos King's revelation. It exploded. Within hours, the internet turned into a battleground. Fans became investigators, bloggers became analysts, and every old rumor suddenly felt like a missing clue. People began pulling court filings, checking company records, and posting screenshots of business complaints that dated back years. Marsau's spotless image as a successful builder and community leader began to crumble piece by piece. Old contractors came forward saying they were never paid, while others claimed projects disappeared halfway through construction. What once seemed like petty drama now felt like evidence. Even the smallest inconsistencies that fans used to ignore were now being seen as red flags. Latisha, who had built her entire identity around being the loyal wife, was facing her own storm. Her calm demeanor and unwavering defense of Marsau once made her admirable. But after Carlos confirmed there was actual criminal evidence, that same loyalty began to look like complicity. Clips of her shutting down conversations, dodging questions, and mocking critics resurfaced online. Viewers who once praised her strength now questioned whether she had known more than she admitted. The woman who had been the voice of grace and faith on camera was suddenly being accused of protecting a lie. And her silence now was the loudest sound of all. Marsau, on the other hand, vanished completely. No posts, no interviews, no explanations. For someone who loved the spotlight, his disappearance spoke volumes. Fans began speculating that he had been advised to stay quiet while his lawyers handled the growing mess. Rumors spread about frozen accounts, canceled contracts, and nervous investors backing out. The empire the Scots had built on charm and ambition now looked fragile and hollow. Meanwhile, Carlos King remained calm, letting his single statement ripple through the industry. He didn't deny, didn't elaborate, he simply let the chaos unfold. That silence was deliberate. It forced everyone to face the truth on their own. Insiders whispered that Carlos had files, recordings, even unseen footage that backed up everything he said. If that's true, then this scandal isn't just about reality TV anymore. It's about what happens when the cameras stop rolling and the real story finally begins to surface. By the next sunrise, the Scots' silence had turned into a spectacle of speculation. Every major gossip outlet picked up the story, and YouTube was flooded with breakdowns, theories, and reaction videos dissecting every second of Carlos King's revelation. Former castmates who once avoided picking sides suddenly found their voices. Some defended Latisha, insisting she was just standing by her husband. Others hinted that she had played a much bigger role behind the scenes than anyone realized. What had started as entertainment was now spilling into real life, where reputations and businesses were on the line. Fans who once wore the Scots merchandise were now demanding refunds, while sponsors quietly began distancing themselves from the brand. They had once proudly supported the Eye. Tension reached its peak when a leaked clip began circulating. Online, an unaired moment from a reunion taping where Carlos allegedly hinted at financial discrepancies within Marsau's business. The clip was blurry, unfinished, but real enough to reignite the fire. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know how deep the lies went. Latisha was spotted in public, visibly shaken but refusing to answer questions. Cameras followed her every move, and even a grocery store run turned into breaking news. For the first time, she wasn't controlling the narrative. The narrative was controlling her. Then came the bombshell. A local source confirmed that a federal investigation might be underway, though no official statements were released. The internet erupted, hashtags went viral again, and the Scots' once flawless image shattered completely. Supporters turned silent, critics grew louder, and even close friends started scrubbing old photos and unfollowing them online. The empire that once symbolized power and unity now stood on the edge of collapse. Through it all, Carlos King remained a shadow in the background, watching the chaos he had set in motion. Whether his motive was justice, revenge, or exposure, no one could tell. But one thing was clear: the truth was out and there was no turning back. In a world built on illusion and image, the Scots had finally become a cautionary tale. The empire wasn't just breaking apart, it was burning down for everyone to see. If you thought this was the end, think again. Because in Huntsville, secrets don't stay buried. They just wait for the right moment to explode. The Scots empire is shaking, alliances are shifting, and Carlos King might be holding more cards than anyone imagined. What's coming next could rewrite everything we thought we knew about love and marriage Huntsville. So don't blink, because the next revelation could drop any second. Stay locked in right here on The Hype Spill, where we don't just report the drama. We expose it, break it down, and bring you the real story behind the cameras. Hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and join the conversation, because this storm is far from over. The tea is hotter, the lies are deeper, and the truth, it's just getting started. Truth, it's just getting started.